Welcome, guys. Welcome back to my channel. And if you are interested in self development, working from home, and entrepreneurship, you are at the right place. In today's video, I'm going to talk about transcription languages that you can also use in your everyday conversations with anyone. But first, what is transcription? Well, transcription is a process of converting audio file to text. In other words, it is simply changing the format of a recorded sound or voice file to text for the end users to read. And I believe that at some point in your life, you have visited a hospital, a clinic, or any medical facility for yourself or your loved ones for medical purposes, obviously. And you may have heard some strange sounding words or encountered out of this world terminologies when the medical professionals talk to you, or when you have been handed in some medical notes to begin with, and I'd say a medical report or a lab result maybe, and you scratch your head and say, what does this finding or diagnosis mean? So these medical reports that you see or read are being transcribed or typed by transcriptionists just like myself, and these reports become a legal document. I'm from the medical field, and I have to admit that I don't know everything. And it becomes even more confusing when people outside this area gets to encounter words that have to do with medical related stuff. And for us to be able to create a legal document for our patients, our medical professionals who for the most part dictate these documents using two languages for us to transcribe. First, the English language, and then medical terminology. Since most of us know already what English is or what the English language is, I'd focus more on the medical terminology. So what is medical terminology? It is our language to communicate in our area of expertise, so to speak, in the medical field, to describe essential components and processes of the human body and its parts, including medical procedures, diseases and disorders, and pharmacological intervention. I am a transcriptionist since 1997. Although I specialize in medical transcription, I am also doing other areas like legal transcription, business transcription, academics, entertainment, and publications, to name a few. And I can say that this career has brought me to the expert level that I am now in the field. And you may notice that my YouTube channel goes around this field of knowledge together with its related areas such as communication in English and medical terminology, which are both very significant in the work and area that I do in the transcription business, which I have just mentioned to you. Now, I'm going to show you something very interesting. Pericarditis is one example of a medical terminology. And a medical terminology consists of a combination of, for the most part, a prefix, a root word, and a suffix, and sometimes a combining form. Peri is a prefix meaning around, cardi is the root word that pertains to the heart, and itis is a suffix meaning inflammation. So we know now that pericarditis means inflammation around the heart. And this is the reason why I'm not worried about not knowing every single medical terminology, because I know by just chunking down this seemingly complex word can give me a clue on what this word means. Although I'm talking about transcription in the beginning, I'm not going to focus on the medical terminology in this video because my topic is more about some strange sounding word forms such as jargons and slangs that are applicable in both the English language and medical terminology that are useful in the transcription field. And talking about transcription, since we are in an unprecedented time, work from home demands are rising each day. And transcription is on top of the list because this type of work does not limit anyone to just do the medical side, but also in the fields of legal, general, academics, and business transcription, to name a few. And all these areas I have mentioned to you have their respective jargons and slangs that they use to communicate better. Typing fast while listening to someone speak over the headphones, either live or recorded, is just the tip of the iceberg as it relates to transcription jobs. Because the reality is, you may think that these medical professionals, so to speak, are talking in tongues. And that's the whole purpose of today's video, as I'll be talking more about medical jargons and slangs. Generally speaking, jargons and slangs are not actually the same, and their principles apply to any profession, be it medical or legal field. It is also prevalent in any other language you speak, for example, of course, English, Spanish, Filipino, and so on. So let me go over the difference between a jargon and a slang, so to speak. Jargons are words that are used to express or describe the special language of a profession, a group of people, or an area of expertise such as medicine, law, or business that makes it quite confusing for others to easily understand their communication style. For example, in the English language, the phrase keep in the loop. I'll call you tomorrow and keep you in the loop. This simply means to get a person or persons informed about a particular plan or event. In other words, it's another way of saying, I'll keep you updated or informed. On the other hand, slang words are a very informal type of language that's deliberately used in place of standard terms or words by a particular group. For example, in today's time, we'd often hear the word frenemy as an English slang word, which is a combination of the words friend and enemy. Another example is the word extra, which I thought at first meant additional or a spare, where in fact it means being too dramatic. Let me go back to the transcription languages that include English and medical terminology. Again, since English is very straightforward and common, I'll focus more on medical terminology and other technical sounding forms such as medical jargons and slangs. I have explained to you before how a medical terminology is formed, right? Remember the prefix, the root word, and the suffix combination? So here, the word idiopathic is a medical jargon that for the most part, only medical professionals can easily pick up and understand. So when we use this term in our everyday encounters with our patients, we can just simply say idiopathic instead of telling the whole meaning in layman's term, which simply relates to a disease or condition whose cause is unknown. The other one, let's say the doctors say, the patient has tachycardia, where in layman's term, it means fast heart rate. Let's now move on to the medical slang. First, AFib. AFib is a medical terminology whose long form is atrial fibrillation, which means an irregular and often rapid heartbeat that can pose an increased risk to experiencing different heart-related conditions such as stroke, heart failure, among other conditions. And then we also have another example, EOS, which means eosinophils. Eosinophils are a type of human blood cells that have a specific role in our immune system. There's one thing that I'd like to add on this topic, which most of us think that they are in fact an existing word, but rather the reality is they are the acronyms of certain group of words that most of us pronounce as one word. What do I mean? For example, this medical term that almost everyone knows about, AIDS. And we think that AIDS is just a normal medical terminology, which actually it means acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. And this form of word is called word acronym. What we do is we take out the initial letters of each word and read it as one word, as I said. Another example of a word acronym is laser in the medical field. It means light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation, laser. You see, jargons, slangs, and even the word acronyms are not the usual sounding words that we use or hear, be it in a casual conversation or in a certain profession, just like my own medical career in transcription. But because there's this trend these days that typically is being influenced by a certain group of people, specifically the millennials, jargons, slangs, and word acronyms are becoming very popular, especially on social media. And it's quiz time! So what you'll do is you simply recognize if the word in red is a jargon, a slang, or a word acronym. And the answers will be given towards the end of the quiz, okay? Let's begin. OMG, he's so cute. It's comfy here. You need due diligence. Your shirt is cool. Have a blast on your birthday. And here are the answers. OMG, he's so cute. OMG is an acronym meaning oh my god. It's comfy here. Comfy is a slang word short for comfortable. You need due diligence. Due diligence is a jargon, which is usually associated with business among other things, and it means to investigate further or to take necessary steps before engaging in, let's say, buying or selling stuff. Your shirt is cool. Cool is a slang word which means is another way of saying awesome or great. Have a blast on your birthday. Have a blast is a slang word or words which means to have some fun. Communication is really one of the most significant skills that we have to master to improve our way of life. And we know that communication utilizes language. And we also know that language is an art rather than a science, which is where slangs, jargons, word acronyms, and other word forms are some creative ways to express ourselves more. And whatever the case may be it English or any language you know, there are still far more interesting words that may still sound odd or weird to you, but at least you know now how they are being derived for the most part. And because everything is available online, it is easier to familiarize yourself more if you happen to come across or encounter them. Now, my challenge to you is this. When you come across words or terms, will you know if these are jargons, slangs, or acronyms? It's fun, right? So again, I invite you to please subscribe, like, and share this video so you will be notified of the information I'm going to be sharing in the near future. And I'll see you again next time. Godspeed!